Hello everyone, and welcome to Stories from Reddit, the Malicious Compliance Edition. I'm not paying you salary anymore. Okay, let's go. To clarify, this is not my story, but my colleague. He's an older gentleman getting close to retirement, so he has many years to give zero craps to people in his time. He just told me of an amazing story of when he used to work in Bermuda as a sous chef about 20 years ago. My colleague, we'll call Mark, used to work for a large company as one of the 18 chefs. There were 4 higher positions of head chefs and sous chefs, all on salary pay, Mark being one of them. As you can probably guess, old managers leave and new managers take over who immediately start to make changes, the first being salaried staff. He couldn't do much about the 2 head chefs as he knew they would quit on the spot, leaving a difficult position to refill without promoting. So he decided to attack Mark and the other sous chef. Both of them lost their salary pay and would be switched to an hourly as it was a way to save money. Wrong move, buddy. As it turns out, Mark was already pulling 50 hours a shift, maybe more than he already been paid for. Salary was paying him 40 hours worth. If the manager has observed for more than a month, he would have known this, but his ego got the better of him far too fast. By moving to hourly, he was getting an average of $6,000 extra a year. Needless to say, the manager asked him to go back to salary. Funny thing about salary, you aren't forced to go back into it if you don't want to be, especially if your colleagues are being paid hourly. Mark enjoyed another 2.5 years there before moving back to England. Our next story, you must write 5 sentences. A short and silly one. I'm from Germany and had English as my first foreign language. This story is from 7th grade, where you usually have 2 to 3 years of English practice, so the writing level they expect is not very high yet. We were doing a writing exercise and got told to write 5 sentences on a topic. I was already quite good at English, nearly fluent even, so I had no trouble writing longer sentences. I wrote 4 sentences on the topic and ran out of things to say, and I filled an entire page. I raised my hand and asked if I could hand in 4 sentences if they are really long. Teacher said no, you must write 5 sentences. I said all right. I thought about what to write for a bit, but couldn't come up with anything. So I just wrote at the bottom of the page, "This is my 5th sentence." She did not find it funny, but she did count it, and I got a perfect score for it. Next story, what? I can't wear a belt if I wanted to? This actually happened in 2006 in my sophomore year of high school. We just have gotten a new principal that year and decided to completely change the dress code. One of the new rules was that any male who wore pants with belt loops absolutely had to be wearing a belt. It was nearing the end of the year, and him and I had already had our few run-ins, which turned into looking for any reason to write me up. I'm not saying that I was an angel or anything, but most of it came from me not being intimidated by him and standing up for myself when I honestly hadn't done anything wrong. I overslept one morning and was in a rush, and when I got to school, I realized that the shorts I was wearing had belt loops and I'd forgotten to wear a belt. I didn't really care as the punishment for dress code violations was always a warning unless it was recurring, and I never done this before. When we were changing classes, I passed by the principal in the hallway and noticed him looking at my beltless pants. I really didn't feel like dealing with him at the moment, so I slipped around the corner and into the swarm of other students before he could call me out. When I got to my next class, immediately the intercom came on. It was the principal making an announcement telling all teachers to check all boys' pants and send any boys breaking dress code to detention for the rest of the day. This really ticked me off because I had never broken a dress code before, my pants were not sagging, and most importantly, I wouldn't be eligible to play in our tennis match after school if I got detention. Luckily, my teacher wasn't in the classroom yet, but I knew that I wasn't getting out of it that easily. In a hasty decision, I ran to the teacher's desk, took her pair of scissors, and cut every belt loop of my pants, much to the amusement of my classmates. The teacher came in a minute later, completely missing the announcement, but sure enough, the principal sticks his head into the door about 10 minutes later after obviously noticing my absence in detention. He tried to play it off like he came to talk to the teacher about something and just so happens at the moment to notice my pants. With the smuggiest look in his face, he said, "Son, did you wear your belt today?" "No, sir." "Well, why aren't you in detention?" I stood up and revealed my newly tailored pants and said, "Because I don't have belt loops, sir." Most of the class is losing it at this point, and if looks could kill, I would be dead. There was nothing he could do though, because no one would admit that I had just cut them, and the rules clearly stated that it was only against dress code if your pants had loops. This was not the end of our run-ins, but I at least won that round. And that's all for our stories from Reddit. My name is LV, and if you like what you see in the video, get us a like, subscribe, and always keep listening to some great reads on Stories from Reddit. Have a good one.